before we jump into it, I'm looking to get a little more active on the platforms like Instagram and Twitter, so drop a follow if you don't already. Would love to get connected with you guys a little further. If not, no worries, but the links are in the description below. Check it out. Multiplayer, Blackout, and I guess not really zombies, but either of the first two, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the S6 Stingray is probably the most annoying thing out there in Black Ops 4, as of at least right now. I know that there's been things that have gone on and off throughout the year that have kind of rubbed players the wrong way, outside of even just the MTX, but the S6 Stingray, I think, has caused some of the biggest commotion out of anything else this year, and that mainly due in part to the operator mod, its power, and the seemingly endless amount of players that have it that you have to go up against, which you may not have it because, well, the RNG of the reserve loot may not be in your favor. But along with the S6 Stingray, that and the Reaver C86 had some substantial changes made to them as of yesterday. We didn't get to talk about this because it happened a little bit afterwards whenever I made my video, so put that up, and then today we're talking about these changes here, and we'll let you guys know everything that changed. And really, it's these two weapons in primary that are the big target focal points here of this update for Black Ops 4. So we'll break that down here for you guys, talk a little bit about the repercussions of everything that happens with this, because there actually is a downside, even though it might not seem like it at first. We'll get to what that is in just a second, and everything in between. So that said, first things first, let's start out on the Xbox One and PS4 side. This happened as of yesterday. PC is supposed to have this happen as of today, but I don't know of just yet if it has made its way over to PC as the time of recording. By the time it goes up, very well could be, and in which case, well, welcome to the party. You end up having the same changes that came along with this one. Now, the more substantial of the two came in the way of the S6 Stingray, but we do have the Reaver C86 as well to cover, and in all of the aspects of MP, Blackout, as well as zombies. So let's start out on the MP side here at the weapons and the adjustments that we ended up having with this one. For the S6 Stingray, it ended up firstly reducing the projectile speed, so your bullets won't travel as fast. You probably won't notice that one as much as you think. It increased the delay between bursts, it reduced the maximum damage, it reduced the maximum damage range, reduced the headshot multiplier, reduced the ammo capacity, and for the specifics of the operator mod, long barrel, quick draw, rapid fire. For the operator mod, it has a longer burst delay time with this. The long barrel now has a reduced damage range bonus. Quick draw has a reduced ADS in bonus, and rapid fire no longer improves projectile fire speed, but still improves the burst delay time. So I don't want to say it negates, but it combats one of the changes here for the previous nerfs that we just mentioned in terms of that burst delay, but the reduced projectile speed still stands. Now, for the Reaver C86, one that I've had some recent really big annoyances with an MP, I guess it just might be my luck because I don't see this very much outside of the past couple of times I've jumped on to play, but the Reaver C86 had a reduction in its ADS speed, a reduction in its reload speed, a reduction in its hip fire accuracy, and for the titanium bolt, it slightly reduced the projectile speed bonus that was granted with that. So both of these weapons, of course, substantially nerfed, the bigger of the two being the S6 Stingray, but probably substantial that you'll notice even on both the weapons. So if you end up playing around with these a lot, you'll probably notice at this point. Now, while there were changes though in Blackout as well as zombies, MP was definitely by far the most substantial changes here for both of these weapons. A lot of this is crossover from what we've seen reduced in MP, in Blackout, and in zombies. So the two following are shorter versions of what we've already kind of covered, but just for the thorough nature and to let you guys know everything that changed. In terms of Blackout, the S6 Stingray ended up having an increase to the delay between bursts, so a nerf there, a reduction in the headshot multiplier, and a reduction in the ammo capacity. But your other things like the projectile speed, the maximum damage range, and your attachment specific changes, those all remain the same in Blackout. To my knowledge, I don't think you can get the operator mod in Blackout. I don't think that I've come across that at all, so that's something you don't really have to worry about. In that sense, I know a lot of the big problems came from the operator mod, but again, it's a shorter variation of some of the changes we've already seen. As for Blackout, the Reaver C86 again had a few of those changes transferred over to Blackout, that being a reduction in the ADS speed, a reduction in the reload speed, and a reduction in the hip fire accuracy. You'll find both of these again only in the LTMs with Blackjack Stash. For zombies, we'll talk about this in just a second. This is where we get to a little bit of, I don't want to say controversy, but something that doesn't make as much sense. For the S6 Stingray, it reduced the projectile speeds, it increased the burst delay, it reduced the ammo capacity. For the operator mod, it has, again, longer burst delay time. The long barrel has reduced damage range bonus. The quick draw ends up reducing the ADS in bonus, and rapid fire no longer improves projectile fire speed, but still improves burst delay time. The Reaver C86 ended up reducing the ADS speed, reducing the reload speed, and reducing the hip fire accuracy, as well as having a reduced reduced projectile speed bonus with a titanium bolt, the exact same as what we saw in MP. So those were the changes, but the community is kind of divided on a couple of things here at this one. Primarily for MP and Blackout, it's been nothing but praise because, well, thankfully, now we finally actually see some substantial change with the S6 Stingray. They nerfed it beforehand, but it really didn't do all that much. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure that you could still one burst with that, which, if you don't know, a one burst is only 2 shots with the S6 Stingray. So that's something that it's great to see some change here at that. The community is pretty happy with it. But the curious part is, why was Zombies changed the way that it was? Why was it something that Zombies was pretty much directly ported over from MP and Blackout? Because Zombies is an entirely different game. MP and Blackout, you of course can regenerate your health, you can do all that kind of stuff. It's a static base number. You end up having 150 health, 200 in some cases, but whenever you take a look at Zombies, as time progresses, it's a snowball effect where the zombies' health is more and more and more. So base guns and weapons that have certain ceilings for their damage potential become rendered pretty much useless if not scaled properly. So when you take something that is meant for MP and Blackout and then just simply one-to-one direct copy and paste those adjustments to the weapons and zombies, the scaling is going to be all thrown off, because that's something that, as we saw with the M16, that pretty much was useless by, I think it was round 10 I heard some people talking about whenever that was first initially dropped and introduced into zombies. And while these weapons of the S6 Stingray and the Reaver C86 aren't as bad as the M16, that's kind of the base comparison that I always come back to and I always draw the parallels to, because it's the same sort of scenario. The scaling is completely different. So the Reaver wasn't really effective to begin with, but whenever you take a look at the adjustments that were made here, that's going to be something that it's pretty much going to be neglected by the players that probably will play zombies and want to play around with some of the weaponry. As for the S6 Stingray, the only thing that I can really think of as to why it would be even relatively similar to the MP's adjustment in the same scaling is maybe the operator mod being explosive. But I don't remember anybody saying that it was something super powerful or anything that was even branded as OP once or twice here, having surfed some of the Reddits and everything like that and seeing some feedback for it. So I don't necessarily understand the reasoning behind this, and I feel there's a lot in the community, and that seems like, reading through some of the responses, wherever the information may be, that's kind of the general consensus. But I guess it is what it is. I'm hoping for some sort of change here in the upcoming weeks or so to kind of at least bring it back to equilibrium for the zombies end. I think that from what I've seen so far, I haven't really jumped on and experienced too much of playing against the S6 Stingray. I truthfully really wasn't ever personally a fan of the weapon myself, so I didn't really use it all that much. So with a nerf, it kind of takes me from something that I don't really want to play with to begin with down even more. But I still think it's personally a little too early for me to give an accurate depiction of, is it something that was changed entirely for the better? I think we're still in that phase of testing it all out, but this introduces the next question. Will we see any more weapon adjustments coming in the very near future? Because truth be told, this is the first time that we've seen a massive nerf like this in quite some time. Even just a weapon change in general. We haven't seen much weapon tuning out of the past couple of months, because once you get past, say, February or March, pretty much everything is solidified for the vast majority of weapons. There, of course, are still going to be things like DLC weapons that are introduced for the first time and need some adjusting here and there, but a lot of the base weaponry we really haven't seen adjusted in months now at this point. So I don't know if we'll see all that much in terms of new weapon updates coming out in the near future. I know that we still have over a month more left on this operation, and I'm not expecting any new weapons to come into the play and into the fold until then. So unless we see some adjustments for these weapons in zombies, I don't necessarily anticipate any other major patch or update changing out of the weapons out compared to what they are now. Now again, as for whenever we end up seeing new DLC weapons introduced, that introduces a whole nother round of potential buffs and nerfs that could happen, but it also depends on how many people there actually are. Surprisingly, the S6 Stingray, I guess, has been in enough players' hands that it became something of a problem, but as for the other weapons, I don't really run into them all that much, and I'm sure that there's still a lot of players that don't have all the weapons, mainly because of the reserve cases, the reserve luck and RNG, and this might have been the first case of a actual pay-to-win aspect, where it was way too overpowered at launch, didn't get nearly enough nerfs made, and then when it finally died down, then players finally got some adjustments made to it. But that said, that's where we're kind of at here at this one. Just wanted to let you guys know about everything that was up on deck and that changed here with this recently. And hopefully by the time this goes live, PC players have this live for them as well, simply because that delay is always annoying. But that's where we're going to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular that you still absolutely despise about this weapon? Are you happy with the adjustments? Do you understand why they did it in zombies? Is it something that you're bothered by that? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, all things Modern Warfare. We're going to be jumping back on some Modern Warfare content here relatively shortly. But if you want to stay up to date with all that kind of stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding any of it. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to check up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But I'll send out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.